Welcome to Talking Plant Protein. I'm Nicole Astra. We are talking Plant Based World Expo today. Benjamin Davis, VP of Content, and General Manager Chris Nemchek are on the show. Ben, welcome back. And Chris, it's so nice to meet you.
Thanks, Nicole. It's great to be back, especially on the other side of a show.
And thanks for having us today. I'm excited to talk about Plant-Based World.
So it's no doubt that the highlight, of course, was that you're back in person and exponentially attended and exhibited, I understand. But what were some of the highlights from each of you? Ben, we'll start with you.
So Chris can speak in a moment to some of the highlights on the expo floor, but in my role as VP of Content in designing the conference program and getting the speakers to come and share, the major highlight for me was both the participation and the engagement in our conference program. We had 500 people sitting in a conference room on Thursday morning before our opening keynote, waiting for the speakers to take the stage. I had the pleasure of getting to introduce those speakers and being in a room with that many people, all eagerly awaiting 2 days of an event was something super special after a couple years of pushing it back and finally being able to bring it to life. So that was a major highlight for me. And then the engagement in that conference program, seeing the speakers out in the hallways after their talks, spending extra 10, 20 minutes engaging with the people in that room. There's such a clear desire and need for discussion and collaboration in this space. And the conference program that we held at the Javits just a few weeks ago really brought that to life.
And Ben, how old is the platform?
Sorry, Plant-Based World itself?
Yeah, I mean, really just a few years of trade show, right?
So the first one was 2019. We had our Europe launch in London in October of this year, but besides that, this was the second event 3 years later.
Well, and I ask because you're drawing the biggest names in the industry. And, you know, so when you say that collaboration is so important, I mean, we're talking real influencers and the people who have the power to make a big difference. That's who's attending. That's who's exhibiting and sharing in the education. And it's incredible. So just want to make sure, in case people did not know that in advance, this really is a powerhouse event.
Thank you. And just to add to that real quick, you know, when we launched in 2019, we had a lot of immediate support from the community and the plant-based movement, the folks who have been kind of grassroots bringing this to life for decades now. The challenge for us was getting engagement from those more traditional food industry companies, the big corporations, the buyers out there in retail and food service. And that's something that over the last couple of years of really finding our flow and having a lot of time to establish connections without having a live event, that we feel we were able to do very successfully. And now we're not just working with the plant-based movement and community, we're working with those folks in the food industry who truly do have a lot of decision-making power to change things. And they're coming to learn, they're coming to share their expertise, and they're coming to see all these companies that are sharing game-changing innovations on the floor as well.
That's great. And Chris, how about from you? What were some of the exciting things that you saw go down?
Well, for me, you know, the overall turnout and response was greater than what we expected. That was a huge highlight for me. You know, I mean, we really weren't sure what to expect coming into the show after, 2.5 years of, punting it down the road, as Ben said. But also, just as we were getting ready to go into Javits, the Omicron variant became prevalent out there. And so we really weren't sure what to expect. But on opening day and throughout the show, you can really feel the energy and excitement on the expo floor. The whole plant-based community was there, mixing it up, making deals and setting the tone really for where this industry is headed in 2022 and beyond. And, when I heard that we had gotten the attention of Javits Center's fire marshal, and the fire marshal doesn't really get involved until there is a real density problem in the aisles on the show floor. When I heard that the fire marshal was out there poking around and was interested in what was happening at our show, I knew we had done something really, really special by filling our space at the Javits Center with a really great crowd. And what I loved about the crowd was not just the size of it, but the enthusiasm of it. And, they were just really appreciative that we had done something to put them all together. And So that was a big highlight for me, and it was really exhilarating after being away from the show business for a couple of years.
Well, you know, from the consumer focus too, you guys have an opportunity to let people get their hands on these products, and a lot of them aren't, you know, really available to the consumer yet, and new products are flying off the shelves just so quickly, and, you know, new innovation. But your event is the chance for people to really literally sink their teeth into what is next in the industry. So that always gets such a great buzz, is the tasting that gets to take place.
Absolutely. Can't do that, you know, in any kind of a digital platform. You know, you really do. Not only you need to taste it, you need to smell it and feel it and all of those things that we talk about. But, you know, when the entrepreneur has the opportunity to, you know, passionately tell their story in person, you know, that takes it to that extra level.
Yeah. So speaking of digital limitations, you've been in the trade show business a long time, Chris. Tell me why it's still relevant.
Well, yes, I've been around for quite some time in the trade show business, and I do appreciate that reminder, Nicole, about how long I've actually been around. No, but I've always, you know, seen the value and the power that face-to-face interactions have, you know, from the trade show platform. I think the pandemic has really solidified that kind of thinking for me. You know, the absence of shows for nearly 2 years have deprived us of that person-to-person contact and the excitement and energy that we generated at Plant Based World and some other shows that have taken place. I've been to a couple of others as well. They really show me that people, particularly this community, really want and need to be together. And so that was really something for me to see that you know, yeah, sometimes, you know, during the hiatus from trade shows, there were a lot of digital platforms and you know, virtual trade shows happening, and you know, and we kept some businesses engaged and kept our community engaged, but there really was a lot missing with the face-to-face. So I you know, you asked me why trade shows remain relevant, and I think that's what it is. It's the ability of that entrepreneur to meet the efficient way that they can meet buyers, partners, investors, and tell their story to the media, and all at the same time in the same place. It's really an efficient way of doing business. And yes, there's these technological advances, and yes, there's new digital platforms and everything, but I don't think that they're going to spell the end of trade shows. I think that what they're doing is enhancing the overall value of trade shows. And so I have confidence trade shows are going to remain relevant for years to come.
Yeah, nothing replaces that personal contact for sure. So Benjamin, what's next for Plant Based World?
Well, we'll start off with our dates for 2022. We're super excited to be returning to New York at the Javits Center. It'll be September 8th and 9th this year. So right after that summer break, we'll be coming back to start the fall off strong in New York. And then we'll be returning for our second year in London. That'll be at a bigger venue at Olympia, and that's November 30th and December 1st. So our two flagship live events will be taking place again this fall. I would say from a content perspective, you're going to experience a much more deep and expansive educational program. This year, there was a lot more we wished we could have done, but we had to work with restrictions and space and bodies, and we had to kind of choose to put together a more condensed conference program. Whereas now we'll have the freedom to potentially add another track to educate both buyers and manufacturers and investors. These are all things that we're throwing around as things we can add. I would also say you'll experience a much more robust and diverse expo floor. We'll be actively seeking to bring in more wholesome and healthy products to go alongside with a lot of those meat alternatives and maybe products that involve a little more processing. We want to have that balance and also bring in some non-food products as well and really highlight what's going on in the plant-based space in food and around food,
Right.
from cleaners and cosmetics and apparels. There's so much room for growth still under that plant-based umbrella. So, and the final piece of that is engaging with our community year-round, continuing to do the digital side in a way that enhances our live events. And so finding ways to do what we do best, which is facilitate networking, bring education, and keep the community moving towards the future. We're putting together a lot of thoughts on how we can build platforms online that serve that purpose, while also reminding folks that if they want to taste the food and they want to meet each other in person, then we have these events that they can attend live each year as well.
That's great. And September will be here faster than we think it is. So,
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you both for your time on Talking Plant Protein. We appreciate it.
It's great to be here again. Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Nicole.